text here. And what we're going to do with this is we're just going to work on some decoding, which means how are we going to learn how to read more complex words? Unusual. Okay, so what we're going to do today, like I said, we're going to work on some word recognition strategies today. So how do we take apart words that are unknown to us and know how to read them, okay? So we're going to work today on doing this decoding, and we're going to use just a quick process. So we've got this short little passage here that has some words that have some complexity to them. And what we're going to do really is that and some of the words you might already know, which is awesome. But for the words you might not know, we're going to work on taking a couple of steps where we stop at an unknown word and we try to chunk it out. We try to break it up by syllables and see if we can come up with a better pronunciation that makes sense by looking at the syllables. So really an important thing to note for us to know here is one key fact. In the English language, every syllable has to have a vowel. So we're going to break things up to make sure they each have a vowel, at least one vowel. Okay, so here's our process. I am going to read for you first. I'm going to do the reading first. So paragraph 1, I'm going to take. We're going to read paragraph 2 together, and then you guys are going to do some reading without me, okay? And I'm just going to kind of model for you. I'm just going to model for you how this works. So if we're looking at our passage here, starting at one day, it's titled Helen Keller, and I'm going to show you what the Post-it notes and pens are for as I go through. So one day, when Helen Keller was nearly 2 years old, she developed a raging, now I'm not sure what that word is, but I do notice this, and this is going to be our model. So here I'm going to try to use my Post-it note to break up that word into chunks that have one vowel, or that have a vowel, at least one vowel in each syllable. So if I look at that word, you can watch me write here if you see. So I've got F-E-V-E-R. So I've got two options. I can break it up F-E-V-E-R or F-E-V or F-E-V-E-R. So I kind of write out my possibilities on my Post-it note there. So I can pronounce this word either fever or fever. Which one sounds more logical?
Fever.
Fever. So I know now this is fever by basically chopping the word up and figuring out if I put one vowel or if I put a vowel or at least one vowel in each chunk, I can kind of come up with what the a proper pronunciation of the word, and I can do a better job of breaking up words that are unfamiliar to me. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
All right. By the time she woke up from it days later, she had become blind and deaf. Helen's parents couldn't speak to her or show her anything. They had no way to teach Helen. And Helen had no way to, and now we've got a multi-syllable word here. So, if I'm going to break this word up here, this one's a little bit easier because the syllables, if I have at least one vowel in everything, notice that I can chunk this by going C-O-M-M, chunk, U-N, chunk, just the letter I, chunk, and then C-A-T-E. And then I can come up with communicate. Communicate. Helen had no way to communicate. So by chunking the words based on having at least one vowel in each syllable, I can come up with more accurate ways to decode unfamiliar texts. And you guys are pretty hardworking. You guys might already know the words I'm using, but again, you're helping me out with my homework, so thank you. So we'll just pretend maybe you don't. And also, this is a skill that you can use on words you don't know. Okay, so let's do some echo reading of the next paragraph, which means I'm going to read and you're going to repeat after me.
Okay.
Sound good? And we're going to all read together. So you'll hear me read first. That's it. And we're going to stop. We're going to stop at potentially unfamiliar words, and we're going to chunk them together. So now you guys are also going to write. Okay? So Helen grew. All right. We already have a first start here. So here we go. Helen grew. You guys.
Helen grew.
Thank you, Yosef. All right, so let's look at this word together here. How can we chunk this word? I'm open to some things. What do you guys think the first chunk for this word is that we should write down?
First.
Yeah.
First.
Yes.
F-U-R.
F-R-U-S. T dash. I see pens moving, thank you. What could our second chunk be?
R-A-T-E-D.
Yes. But I'm going to stop at R-A-T. Because ED is a prefix that we put on words that means past tense. So that always gets its own syllable. Okay? Then ED. So if I break it up, now I have chunked it. What could our word be then here?
Frustrated.
Frustrated. Frustrated. Frustrated. All right. Let's keep going now. Let's start at the beginning of the sentence. I want you guys repeating after me. Here we go. Helen grew frustrated
Helen grew frustrated.
and through violent
Into violent.
new word again.
New word.
Very funny. Very funny. All right, let's look at this next word. This is again, we're looking at tricky words here. How can we chunk this next word?
T-A-N.
Yes, T-A-N. We're going to stop at T-A-N. And then we're left with T-R-U-M-S. How do we pronounce that? To start the first chunk. It's a color.
Tantrum.
Yes, tantrums. Tantrums. It's tantrums. How am I doing? Have I lost anybody?
What's that color?
Great question. Follow-up questions about vocabulary are always important. Tantrums are like, you ever see a little baby scream and cry, kicking on the floor?
Yes.
That's a violent tantrum.
Oh,
Okay? So anytime you lose control of your emotions and you're just, and you're just like it, that's a tantrum.
okay.
All right?
Thank you.
No problem. Great. Okay, let's get back to it. Through violent tantrums, stamping and screaming.
Through violent and tantrums. Screaming and screaming.
Good. We got to practice our language. Okay. This next one's going to be tricky. Once in a.
Once in
Okay. How are we going to chunk this word? Because here's where it gets tricky because there's a whole bunch of vowels. But let's just start if we get the first one.
F-U-R.
There you go. F-U-R. So write that out. F-U-R. And then we have the dash. Then we break up the second one. Our next chunk is pretty much all vowels. It's another chunk that we're going to see. This is another phenome that we see a lot in English. It's pronounced eos. So Dogs and cats all have what on them? What's their skin covered with? No? Fur. Okay. So, this word, that first chunk is pronounced fur, or fur. Furious. Can we say that?
Furious.
Furious. Practice that. Furious. Okay? Okay, so let's do the repetition. Let's read it. Once in a furious rage,
Once in a furious rage,
she tipped over her little sister's crib.
she tipped over her little sister.
Helen's parents were deeply concerned.
Helen's parents were deeply concerned.
Thank you. They hired Anne Sullivan,
They hired Anne Sullivan,
a young teacher,
and teacher,
to try to, and we already saw this word. What's that word again?
communicate
Yeah, try to communicate
with their
with their troubled and angry daughter. Okay. Next chunk, I want you guys to read it together. And if you get to a word that you don't recognize, you stop us.
So we say stop.
Yeah, you say stop, and then we are going to chunk the word together. And we're going to help each other. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be co-readers. You're all going to read at the same time, okay?
Mm.
So we're starting at Sullivan. That's her name, Sullivan. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Sullivan had unique.
Oh. Do you know that word? U-N-I-Q-U-E? Good effort. Okay, but we got to chunk it up. So let's work on this together. What is the first chunk that you guys think this word would have? U and I. Here's where English gets fun, because even though that looks like un, it's not pronounced on. It's pronounced yun. Yeah, you. What's that? Okay. And then our second chunk is Q-U-E. So here we have the word unique. Okay. So Sullivan had a
Unique.
approach. Okay, keep going.
Trying to teach.
Oh wait, so 1, 2, 3.
Trying to teach Helen, she would use her finger to spell words on the plan.
Okay, this is, okay, I'm gonna stop you again. This is a hard word to sound out because it only has one syllable. P-A-L-M, because it only has one vowel. That's palm.
Okay.
Palm of your hand is right here. Okay. Palm of Helen's hand. 1, 2, 3, let's read.
Palm of Helen's hand, indent place Helen hand of object for instance.
Stop.
Good job, Yosin. Stop, yeah, but Yosin already got it. Okay, let's break this up. What's our first chunk in this word? I-N. Dash. And then our second chunk, instance, is the rest of the word. S-T-A-N-C, or N-C-E. And it's pronounced, Yosin, take her away. You already pronounced it correctly. How's it pronounced?
Instance.
Instance. Instance. Okay, if we sound out the see, this is a word, this is a little bit easier than palm or unique because all the letters make the sound they're supposed to make. So stance, if you just sound out the letters.